Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love, love. 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 Got lots of love, love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CGL Season 15 Masters Division Winners Finals between Sorta Skilled versus Low Ground Main. I'm D-Lo here to host you through the action alongside Shadowfang, Almighty Eyes in the Sky, Time to Light, and Mara keeping the prod on and the cam steady. Shadow, how we feeling?
Really good, actually. I've casted low ground main a few times this season, and they're a really strong competitor in this tier, so I'm not at all surprised to see them here in the winners final. I haven't really seen Sort of Skilled that much, so I'm gonna be really curious to see what these two teams look like going up against each other. But I have to assume with this being the winners finals that we're probably gonna have a really good match here today.
I mean, the name shows humble beginnings, right? But clearly they've got some stuff to back it up. I respect that. Speak softly, carry a big stick, and some big plays to come. We also got a big bracket here to show you guys with some big names to speak of here. So as we hippity hop in and see what the landscape looks like, any names jumping out at you when we look across the field?
Shoebill Nation's been really, really strong so far throughout this bracket. At least in the lower half of it. So I would keep an eye on them whenever we're, once we get done with this match, moving on and whatnot. So yeah, but outside of that, it seems like both of these teams have just come out of some really tough games themselves. So this top half of the bracket seems pretty even so far.
And yeah, Sort of Skilled sending Celestial Knights down that losers bracket, who I had the very good pleasure of casting prior as they took down Silvok Lovers very authoritatively, 3-0 sweep. A lot of momentum carrying them up against the Shoebill Nation, so hopefully it's not just going to be a duck hunt shooting spree. Hopefully those birds got a bit of fight left in them to make that one a bit more competitive than what we've seen prior. But like we said, match on our hands here, Sort of Skilled up against our friends on low ground. But it's high echelon skilled play. You see the lineups coming at you in just a second here. Some big names on the side of Sort of Skilled, and for good reason. SOS is what you're going to be calling out here when you're slated up against them as the enemy.
No, absolutely, especially having to go up against a support player named Ligmatos. Like that is the most deadly person in this lobby. I don't care what anybody tells me, that's the most deadly person in this lobby. The name the name usually correlates with the skill most of the time.
Yeah, you got to be careful with anyone who's got the meme names on them, and they literally have they call meme as well. So, scary stuff to certainly behold on their side. And obviously, when it comes to these lineups, you typically see the main picks that they've got going on for them. You see that Lucio Kiriko, that dive potential, whereas Main staying very low to the ground here with our vertically challenged friend, the Torbjorn. This is definitely an interesting lineup decision, and I've got to imagine it's one they've intentionally made.
No, absolutely. This team is like the master of memeing in this tier, essentially. I mean, literally look at their logo up there. It's just somebody being like, we're not going up there. We got to go low ground. So the team is absurdly ridiculous most of the time, but also incredibly good, especially Pred and Kind. Pred and Kind have just been absolutely popping off every time I watch this team play.
Well, we can also see which map they'll be popping off, hopefully, on shortly as we hippity-hop into what these maps are going to be. Control things to start, and like you said, you've got the download on the team. I'm a bit of a new blood here in the CGL block, so what should we be expecting in terms of what favors each of these teams? Do low ground want a map that lacks the high ground, or do they want a Sword of the Skies? What is each team kind of looking for to get the upper edge?
It's funny. The last time I casted low ground main, I think their best map was actually Gibraltar. That was the map they played the absolute best on. So I think, don't be fooled by the name per se, because I've seen them run flawless dive compositions. I don't think we'll see that on Lijiang. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. I've seen some Winston dives come out on this map during the playoffs, so I wouldn't be too shocked by that. But I would more so expect like Ramatra type brawly compositions, but Sort of Skilled getting the first ban here.
And we're going to have to find out if they indeed recognize that they've done their homework. Hopefully, Sort of Skilled, the top of the charts, the front runners. You got to expect that they understand and know the game plan their opponent's trying to go for and are going to make a nice little ban to try to stifle that, get a bit speed bump. And in these first of threes, it's a bit of more of a marathon, not a sprint. So this
Yeah.
first match does such a great job in pace setting. You really want to make sure you got the wind in your sails to start things off.
Well, and it really gives you the chance to get a good feel for each other as well, understand what tempos each team wants to play at, potentially find yourself a weak link somewhere. I'm going to take a guess. I think Sort of Skilled is going to go for like a Kiriko or Juno ban here. That's what it feels like. Support is a pretty safe ban to go with first. Let's see, though.
I think you ban the Torbjorn, you ban all 5 of them, then they don't even know what to do. But instead, Noah's DPS
yeah.
inclinated. I do understand the Kiriko ban,
That's a good one.
because that definitely would be quite the hassle to not have that Kitsune rush on board. Instead, we don't like the high flyers, so we're just going to try to take out that Pharah. Does open up some less hit scanny based compositions that maybe enables things like, I don't know, I think of your Malgas, I think of your Reinhardts, people who are just going to be staying all 10 toes in the ground and really can't contest that Pharah. So I do like the fact that Sort of Skilled are trying to open up compositions and maybe make their opponents fear for the worst.
Could be a Winston thing as well, right? Like you want to play Winston rather than Diva, just because I think Winston helps enable dives a lot better, helps you be more aggressive as a team. But if you're having to constantly deal with a Pharah as Winston, like that's too difficult of a problem for Winston to consistently deal with without like some sort of hit scan help.
Well, now the reverse side is the question as far as what are low ground main going to do? I mean, honestly, kind of a low blow to take down the one who can send low ground soaring to the skies instead. So I guess we are staying somewhat thematically consistent. You guys stay on terra firma if you don't mind. What do you think low ground are going to be looking for in terms of their counter ban?
You know, it's really just going to be up to what would irritate us to play against with the comp we want to play. So with low ground, if they want to play something like, I don't know, like if they want to play like that Winston dive composition, you could try and get rid of like a Brigitte or something, just try and like further enable your dive, have less things that are stopping you from just kind of advancing. So I would guess something like an Ana or a Brigitte. I don't think any tank is just powerful enough that's worth banning on Lijiang Tower in particular, but maybe I could be totally off base with that.
One thing we can certainly expect that's going to likely shift right on by these bans that I'm always curious when it comes to this first control map is who plays the Symmetra, who tries to go with the cheesy Deathbox teleport strat, and where does it work on? Oftentimes we've seen, at the very least when my ability to cast that Sylvok Lovers versus the Celestial Knights, each round, every single time they'd start off with Symmetra Rush, and it all just comes down to whether or not, again, can you set the rhythm in your tempo. And once that first push happens, it oftentimes decides the entire pace of the entire rest of that round.
No, it absolutely can, for sure. So I am going to be pretty curious to see. I'm very curious to see where low ground main happens to go with their next ban. Having a little technical difficulties with it at the moment, but
Damn you, Sombra.
right, Sombra. It's always Sombra's fault. Oh my goodness. But you know, Lijiang is probably one of my favorite maps in the game, at least personally. It just allows you to play such a wide variety of different heroes. You know what? Actually, this is a personal ban that I would make because I don't like Orisa. I would ban Orisa because I don't like her existing in my face and being essentially unkillable for very long periods of time, especially right now.
That's understandable, especially on a map that has a lot of boop opportunities. Someone who's just able to completely shift off all that CC and then tell you to halt in your place can be pretty frustrating to have in your face. So maybe not necessarily, like you said, the most threatening reasons, but potentially just to maintain your mentals if you want to just try to remain nice and calm, tranquil, meditative spirit. It's really important to keep that mental fortitude alongside, of course, your skills being brushed up too. Sometimes, even if you're playing the physical game pitch perfect, if you're starting to get on tilt, that just might be what it's all said and done for. You don't want to be dropping your season to some bad comms, to some unfortunate frustrations so late in your season 15 run. Juno is going to be the ban coming out here from low ground, so all the high flyers being taken out here. What do you think's the strategy behind that decision?
Yeah, they must just not want to deal with the orbital ray, or maybe they just don't want to deal with Juno Brig as a potential option. You know, a lot of people don't care for that comp. They would rather play the Kiriko Lucio. So that way you're kind of forcing sort of Skilled to, if they're going to play a Brawl comp, they have to play the Lucio, and you might think, hey, we've got the better Lucio. They can't swap over to Juno, a hero that's a little bit less taxing than like a Lucio, that type of thing. That's my best guess here.
I do like that idea of trying to bait someone essentially into a dupe smash where you say, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. And that's, once again, a way to goad someone into getting a bit in their feelings. And obviously these players, we're 15 seasons in here as we hippity hop into the first game. You got to imagine that these people are experienced with that, but nonetheless, sometimes adversity brings out the best in you. Sometimes it also brings out the worst in you, that golem to your Smeagol.
No, absolutely. And I mean, this would be the spot for it to come out at. Granted, it is the winner's final, so you're not out if you lose today at the very least. You know, that's a positive for both of these teams. If you come out and just roll a dud, as you can sometimes do, you still got another chance to come back and potentially make it to that grand final slot still, which is good. It's definitely good, but as we've already seen, both of these teams just had to have 5 mappers against both of the teams they just played against. So it's not exactly going to be easy for you if you fall down to that lower bracket. You still have to deal with some very stiff competition down there as well.
That's a really great point that you pointed out there, the fact that we've kind of had a lot of resistance on our path to these winners finals. I think that bodes well in the sense that both these teams, they've had a bit of tit for tat. They understand what it is like to taste that sweet nectar of victory, but they also understand the stinging defeat of a hard loss. And I think that's really important. Sometimes when a team is too dominant, they don't understand what it's like to lose. They don't know what it's like to eat something that's not out of a silver spoon caressed lightly into your mouth. You want to understand what it's like to be on both sides of that coin, and that means that, again, best of 5, first to 3. If you take that hard loss in the beginning, yes, I'm sure it's going to hurt a little bit, but you can bounce back, you can come back, you can still grab that W.
Oh, no, you absolutely can, especially with having the map and the map type available to you as your picks for every single time you lose like that. I've seen quite a few where teams are very closely matched. It's just the person that the team's map pick just wins back and forth over and over again because they just like, we know the maps that we're absolutely dominant on, and we're going to take you to our dominant maps, force you to play our game as often as we possibly can. Going to get this lineup up here again. I'm really glad that they all put Torbjorn down. Makes it significantly better to look at this every single time. Just seeing 5 Torbs, it's like, okay, this is the type of team we're dealing with today.
It's that same comforting, warm feeling when you get 5 dupes out of your loot box in Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2 now that they're back. So hey, you can get that nice, sweet, nostalgic feeling of just seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And as we hippity hop into our first round, where we're going to be playing over and over and over again, you see the comps start to get formed up. How do these all shake up to your expectations?
Yeah, this is the Winston comp that I saw Low Ground Main play last time they were on this map. So I'm not at all surprised to see this. And sort of Skilled looks like they're almost coming out specifically for that comp as well. Looks like they're going to be opting for potentially the Sojourn Reaper variant, whereas Low Ground Main, I'm fairly certain Kind is going to go back onto that Tracer here. So I'm going to be really curious to see which one gets the better. The Tracer just trying to get at the back line. Oh, no, they're both Tracer. Okay, never mind.
That was interesting. A double symmetric switch to a double Tracer. We're just trying to juke each other out, I suppose. But beyond that, quite a lot of dittos across the map. In fact, completely dittoed comp. So it all comes down to execution as we hit the hop over to the point. So far, being taken by sort of Skilled. Some decent poke on each side. Meme dives the back line. Gonna need some supporting because they're dropped down to half, but not too much danger quite yet on either end. Cox does go down.
Yeah, Kind already getting 2 on that Tracer, make it 3, and I mean, that's exactly what you need to see from your Tracer player, that pitch-perfect tracking, just in the back line, being a little gnat, just 24/7 laying some damage in. But even with that fight when coming through, both of these teams are essentially 30% to their ultimates across the board. Like, Kind is a little bit ahead, but not significantly, especially for that Tracer, so that was a really close fight, actually.
Very impressive, and it just goes to show that here at the top, really can come down to one hair's difference. Caught within the Sojourn bubble. Kind's got to back their way on out and does do successfully. Dub forced to recall as well underneath the pressure that they try to re-ascertain on the point. Sort of Skilled. Haven't worked up to half, but have to quickly retreat because Viral already down. These supports are starting to get kind of choked out, and it's causing quite a bit of trouble. Or at least Ligmatos, the true hope of sort of Skilled, still alive. High quality does go back in, but only for their own death at Hoxie's hands.
And I mean, yeah, no, you definitely want to reset this if you're sort of skilled. Maybe not. What do I know exactly? Looks like we're just going to continue sitting here fighting this and looking for a potential kill. Dub getting the kill on the Zebra Cookie.
Ox does go down, high quality back in action. Finds revenge too against their quarry. And now it might be a monkey war. 100 men versus 1 gorilla. How about 1 gorilla versus 1 gorilla? They call Meme does not win that one. Kind takes it down before the life's quickly avenged by Ligmato's. Dub will also take down Zeta, and Pred will finish the job onto the Kiriko as well. So 2 for 2 overall, but Low Ground do have the respawn advantage. You see Viral on the walls trying to ride their way back to victory, but can't quite find the boops they're looking for. Low Ground retain the point.
Oh, Pred popping off with this overclock right here, just looking for something, and the bubble is just right in the way. And you've got this Kitsune Rush coming in from Ligmato's here now to get this fight started.
Can't just say the name, it's so ridiculous, but Kitsune Rush matched there by the other Kiriko as Zebra's going to retain that sound barrier for a moment of desperation. They might see it right now. They call Meme tearing the Sojourn apart. Pred will get absolutely ripped to shreds as they call Meme goes on the tear. Manages to bat away as well as Zeta. Hawks takes them out. Dub will fall to the doppelganger, but nonetheless, now it's sort of skilled with the advantage of the fight, but a pulse bomb might even the odds. They call Meme goes down.
Oh my goodness, and now an overclock coming out from Hoxie Voxie. These two teams are just going back and forth. And like even with all this back and forth, Low Ground Main just still has the point. 95%. You're burning all these ultimates if you're sort of skilled, still not able to take the point.
It's just the fact that Kind has not been killed. I don't think Nary once. Hoxie goes down after trading out their life for Pred. So it's a 1v1, the DBZ trade. They call Memes, got to go back in. Looks for the backliners, does punch Zeta square in the face, but now's got to look for their doppelganger as well. No success there. Good jump jet back to safety. Ligmato's gets taken out. High quality gets put on blast in 4K. Dub finishes the job, and finally, Kind goes down with that. Sort of skilled. Finally able to get a bit of respite on the point.
No, absolutely. Finally getting some of that percentage ticking upward for them. And Low Ground Main, not really close to any ultimates on their side, quite honestly. Sort of skilled getting close on that Pulse Bomb, and the Kitsune is going to be coming up here shortly as well. And Low Ground Main already re-engaging.
They call me M, trying to force him off. Remember, Winston forced a jump jet first, typically is going to be in a bit of a spot of bother due to the ability to re-engage or chase or disengage a bit easier. Daryl does take down their quarry. Zebra Cookie, though, does get the kill first on Ligma beforehand, so both these players batting without a support. No ultimates online for either side. It's going to come down just to the rate fires. Dub gets electrocuted and fried up by high quality. Good recall there from Kind, keeps them in high spirits and high health. As Low Ground Main slowly but surely starting to work their way through the point. Cully Mam, unfortunately, cannot be called on for much other than to try to stall this one out. Tracer as well. Good sound barrier there from Daryl. Tried it and gets and sustain up on the board. Kind does the pulse bomb in the back. Fred dead already. Ligmato's does unfortunately take the fall shortly after. Viral takes out Zebra Cookie as well. Pulse bomb goes wide. Dub gets smacked up and clapped up by Kind as well. Sort of skilled, nearly approaching 99%, but they've got to hold on. They call me M, tearing away at this Winston, but high quality still got their ult too.
And here comes the primal from high quality. Kind getting the kill on the Vero. High quality getting a primal juggle. And I just love this Winston play right now.
Oh no, Ligma gets taken out right after. They call me M, disassembled by Zeta. And with that, Low Ground Main able to take back the objective and able to finish this one decisively. It was a good attempt, sort of skilled, brought it nearly back to square. Unfortunately, just a bit too little, a bit too late.
It absolutely was. And I mean, both of these teams just going back and forth. Granted, it did go 99 to essentially 0 for the side of Low Ground Main to start with, but it was back and forth the whole time. They were just in kind of one continuous fight, and Kind was touching just long enough for the point to not flip over and over again as their team re-engaged. I mean, honestly, something has to be done about this Tracer. This Tracer is just running rampant, just literally wherever they want to be at all times right now.
I think that's the one difference, right? And it's so apparent what one small factor can change the entire comp when they're all completely doubling each other, right? And we see the exact same thing again. This Dub, Kind, switching right back using that TP to those Tracers, and that means that Dub's got to step things up to actually prove their namesake is valid. They call me M, takes to the front line, but when you have only execution being the difference, no character picks that separate you, it can also be a bit of a skill check. It can be a bit of a mental check as well. Sort of skilled, got to hang in.
No, absolutely. And I mean, teamwork comes into play a lot here as well. Pred getting that nice shot onto Hoxie Voxie. That's the types of things you gotta just like do something about if you're sort of skilled. You can't allow low ground main to constantly get first kill.
If you're sort of skilled, you got to be able to get picks. Viral, unfortunately, can't comply. Neither does the other support. They get wiped away. Because now they're the ones calling for SOS. Low ground main do take that point once it opens on up. Now the question is, how do we approach? How do we dive through? It's clearly been that scrappy mentality on both teams' mind, but low ground main just have the better edge.
They seem to just win their 1v1s off in the distance. So like Pred winning against Hoxie Voxie, Kind winning against Dub, that's consistently happening, and it can't happen every single time. Like it has to change at some point for sort of skilled.
Focus fire is thus the call. Like you said, communication is key. Maybe we're starting to find it now. It's a 2-for-1. Viral does go off, but Hoxie and Ligma both find their own kills. Pred, though, staying all 10 toes down on this point, finds the railgun shot right into Dub's skull. Beautiful work by the Sojourn. Evasively dives up and overclocks in. All that overtime going to be paid off with this damage onto the Winston. They go in aggressive beneath the bubble. Might have been a bit too much aggression, though. Hoxie Voxie pays him back in kind.
No, that was a great bubble coming out from Meme. And I mean, right here, you're just seeing the cleanup come through for the side of Sort of Skilled. But even still, low ground main lost that fight like 20 seconds ago and just now gave the point up. Like, those are the types of things that are absolutely massive, especially in mirror matchups and at this level as well. Because if you're really evenly matched, you getting that extra 10%, 15%, it can matter over the course of a map.
Like what Hoxie's doing there, trying to land those sticks thanks to that perk for the Sojourn, get that extra dot damage and force everyone to try to break up the fights, make sure that everyone's separated. But at the same time, is it your advantage if everyone's separated? Because then it's divide and conquer, and Pred certainly complies. Takes down Dub with another pitch-perfect, precise railgun shot. One precise punch to the head, and Ligma gets dropped as well.
And there it is again. There's that difference I'm talking about once again. The point got flipped before everybody died for Sort of Skilled that time, right? Low ground main is just positioning and pathing around the map better as a whole right now. They know where they want to fight at. Sort of Skilled feels like they don't know where they want to fight at. They have a general idea of where they want to take fights, but they're not forcing low ground main to take the fights at those locations.
Whoa, what a great Suzu. Completely bails out Pred from the dive there and forces They Call Me M to try to make a big play, but you can't with Feral already dead. Has to retreat. A big ultimate wasted, and Kind is only thriving with their pulses.
Dub does get that one back, though, and takes down Pred, but here we are, 95%. If you're this Tracer of Dub, you probably have got a touch right here because you can't just give this up.
Sound barrier drop, but They Call Me M is already out for the count. Zebra Cookie gains a great boot kill. They just continue the pressure. Do apply the sticky to the Winston, but it's not going to be enough because they got the blickies on you. High quality is tosses up the Lucio into the air. Hurry, like wall riding. Oh, you wall ride right back to the grave. Ligma and Viral both go down. It's a 5-player KO streak. Dub gets smacked up in the head. Hoxie Voxie finds a response as a consolation prize. But hold on, M back in the game and quickly escorted right back off the premises by a great overclock. Trying to stall and fall for as long as possible, but you're not Pred. You can't stay standing. Low ground, take the first map.
And like right there, that second map, that is exactly why low ground main, that is exactly why low ground main has been so dominant for this entire postseason. They know how to play this Winston comp so well. Like, I am just always impressed every time I watch these people play. Like, they just are always all on the same page with each other. Every time an ultimate gets popped in a situation that it feels like it's like, should you really be doing this right now? Turns out they get 3 kills with said ultimate like every single time. It's like they feel like they have full trust amongst each other, and like you're seeing like 2-man, 3-man sound barriers going off, but that's getting them an extra 10 to 15% on the point, just because they know like, hey, if we can live long enough for our team to get back. We've been winning all these fights in the neutral. We just got to stay alive long enough for everybody to retouch this point.
And that trust comes certainly from when they're acting cohesively together. Like when you just said they're using those sound barriers to make sure that everyone stays alive, but it also comes in trust that you can act autonomously. I know that my buddy is going to be able to win that 1v1. I know that Pred can take down Hoxie. I know that I don't need to babysit them. And having that reassurance, it just feels so nice because it's a pressure lifted off your shoulders that I just don't think Sort of Skilled have the luxury of kind of investing in that same kind of trust. So when you think back to the bans, right? We banned the Pharah on Sword of Skilled, if I'm not mistaken, which means they were trying to out-Winston the Winston Giants, right? The people who kind of put this composition into practice. Do we think we need to see them maybe change from that strategy, or do you want to see them keep trying to go tit for tat with their compositions?
I mean, honestly, it depends on what map they decide to roll with, right? That's going to decide a lot to me, because with Sword of Skilled, you want to go to a map where you feel like you know the map as well as Low Ground Main just played and knew Lijiang Tower, right? Because it's that pathing difference right now. And it looks like we're going to watch point Gibraltar, so that tells me that they're wanting to continue this Winston gameplay right now.
Okay, so we've got this cart we're pushing up the entire way. I do like it when an objective-based map goes from being stagnant completely, all centered around one immobile objective, to now we can actually get moving a bit, get the blood flowing, start stretching out, and get our arms that were left asleep now, wake them up a little bit and try to get pumping. Do we feel like this still, in that case, goes with what we were talking about before? Because Winston certainly works well on this map. You can find some dive opportunities, but there's also a bit more open prairies, a bit more spots where you could post up with an Ashe, with your Widowmaker, even if you so please. Are we expecting Sword of Skill to go with something a bit less typical from what we've seen so far?
I gotta be honest, I think Sword of Skilled probably goes on ahead and takes the Tracer ban here. Just go on ahead, get that out of the way. You know, we can play this map with, you know, something a little bit different. It's either got to be that or the Sojourner Ashe. I think that's got to be your two picks right now, because Predenkind were like the biggest reasons you lost the first map, so you need to get something that you think they're really strong at out of this game.
I definitely agree that the DPS or the tank got to be the focus, but I'm not upset hearing the DPS, because they're the ones that are winning those 1v1s. I don't think They Call Me M was having the worst of times trying to dive in up against their opposition, but they just didn't have the backup, because oftentimes it was toes getting swept off their feet, or it was our friend Viral just getting taken out too early. It's going to be the Diva ban, though. Gotta say, not what I was expecting. What's the logic?
It doesn't make much sense to me, because we just saw Low Ground Main wants to play the Winston comp. We just saw that last map. They're not going to err towards that Diva composition more often than not. It makes sense if you just, you as Winston, you're like, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I know that Winston is better than Diva in composition-wise and in terms for dealing and helping their team do a dive, but I personally as Winston don't like dealing with Diva. So like that would make sense, but we just saw Low Ground Main run Winston, so I'm very confused by this.
I'm not gonna lie, something's confusing me. Again, new to CGL here. What are those amazing photos over Farah and Juna's faces? That's hilarious. Whose yearbook picture is that?
That's Sword of Skilled's team logo.
That's so good. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Okay, I love the fact that we're using yearbook photos. It's like, that's Reaper before you like join like Blackwatch.
Oh, I should have said Brig. I should have said Brig this time. Okay, so it looks like they're probably going to opt for like the Curie Lucio Winston dive once again. They don't want to see the Ana Brig. So, I mean, I love seeing a nano boosted Winston, but apparently Low Ground Main is like, nah, none of that. Brig is the only thing that can save you from this dive we're about to give you, so we need Brig to not be an option for you.
I'm a bit worried. I'm not gonna mince my words here. I think the fact that we're banning away this Diva, maybe it's a protection ban in the sense that we're enabling more characters that can operate better to counter Winston, but who gets countered by Diva that can just dominate a Winston, or the dive comp in general that we've seen Low Ground put up so efficaciously? Just if there's something in your mind, I know you're saying that it's not quite meeting the logic in your brain, but you're the smart C2 man, you're my color. Give me some knowledge here as far as what heroes do you think they could pick into what we've seen Low Ground operate with so far that might see better success?
I think you run the exact same comp that we saw last map. You just swap the Tracer for a Reaper. I think running a Sojourn Reaper, all of a sudden your focus is now laying down an insane amount of pressure on the Winston, as opposed to before your objective was to run these 1v1s essentially. The Tracer 1v1s were dictating almost every fight. So, and also Dragonor has come in for Sword of Skilled. I'm wondering if this is one of their sniper players, so maybe they want to try and play some Widowmaker potentially. You know, Ashe, Widowmaker, both very strong on this map.
I'm also getting some I'm getting some knowledge from the streets here of Gibraltar that apparently this is actually a ban that we've seen before from our friends on the side of that diva. So maybe it's just a trauma ban. Sometimes that can be the case. We're sort of skilled say, listen, horrible things, war crimes were committed on this character. I don't want to see it ever again in my life. And that's just to preserve your mentals. Unfortunately, we're not preserving the strategy that you elected for. Dub is going to be back on the Tracer. However, we do have an Echo returning alongside an Ana, so there is a bit of zigging where the opponents might zag, because Pred's on that Ashe.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a different choice for sure here. And I love Echo. I think you're going to have a hard time closing these angles before Pred takes you down on this map in particular. Like, if you were on, like, a Blizzard world, I'd be like, okay, you got a lot more angles and areas to hide behind. I feel like this has too many long sight lines that Pred is going to catch this Echo out before they can get on top of them.
Find out as we dippity dive right on in. A good sleep instantly is the response, and Echo dropped down to low, but Call Me M barely staying alive as well. These antis, in my opinion, that's what I'm really looking for. Zebra Cookie as well as Ligma on that. Can they manage to stop They Call Me M when they go in full aggressive? Can they get high quality to retreat back and dive for a health pack and make sure to just kind of buy their time? Already starting to see them. Those antis are going to be instantly heat seekers for those monkeys, and I don't hate to see it.
Oh, and down goes Dragonor. But Zeteriaki going down too, that's a really good kill for the side of Sword of Skilled here. It might give them a little bit of a grounds to push.
For them, this is the proof of concept match. Can they make it work on a map that has a lot more verticality to it? Dub certainly is having a hard time. Can't turn that corner, now under pressure. Forced to blink their way back to safety as They Call Me M. Trying to suss out where they can find the competition again. It's the ability to operate independently, but do you have the skills to be up to snuff for it? Ligma gets taken out there by Kind. It's that mosquito you were talking about, but the mosquito's got a knife.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, and there's no Brig, right? Brig got banned, so now you're stuck here. You've got to land your sleep onto a Tracer consistently. That's asking a lot of somebody, right? But if it doesn't happen, then Ligma is probably just going to die to Kind over and over again. But what has to happen, Dub has to do the same thing to Zebra Cookie.
Good recall there from Kind. Keeps them back in the game and a full health too. Just, they truly know this character ins and out. 1v1 here. Can Dub find the better hand of it? They do retreat back quickly. Kind gets all the heals they need to. Dub can't say the same quite just yet. Dragonor under pressure, forced to back off. An alt fire there from the opposing Winston, causing them quite a bit of havoc. But slowly but surely, Sword of Skilled have pushed this up. Now with Kitsune Rush, seems they want to try to finish their job to get to that point. Ligma, though, does get crushed. A great anti finds both Dragonor and the Ana, and high quality takes both their heads.
A rather high quality nano boost right there for sure.
Heyo!
There's something super satisfying. Maybe it's just because I'm a Winston player, but I just like seeing the nano Winston come through and you just have no choice but to die to this character. Like, I don't know. There's something very enjoyable about it for me.
Like seeing that, just both of them just kind of firing at each other, just trying to build up all that ult charge. We do, in fact, see that the Rage all the way up there for high quality. In fact, 3 ults for 3 ults. Sort of Skilled nearly at the edge of getting that first point. It would be a huge, I think, boost to the mentals. They could just prove that, hey, we don't necessarily need to win all these flashy fights. We're still just advancing the objective. Diving on in the Winston instantly is anti. Doesn't matter, though. The dome protects them as they pop Zebra Cakes in their head top. Ligma going to go down and trade. Zeta as well. Pred will fall, too. Dragon on the back line. Making quick work of the Ashe. Viral, fortunately, will lose their heads. That's both the supports on either side. Pulse Bomb not going to get the answer, but the dupe is instantly trooped out, and Dragonor quickly torn asunder. High quality goes in, looking for seconds. Will they find it?
I love the flyby primal hit onto Dragonor. That kill is going to hold this point. Like, that is just that's a crazy good kill. And look at how good, oh my goodness, They Call Me M just almost dying in primal that fast.
Oh, okay, Dub, showing that they got some moves to show with that Pulse Bomb. Takes down Pred. Just as soon as Bob comes out, too, it does really limit the efficacy of that ultimate coming out there. Dragonor is trying to get a bit of poke around that corner, but not too much they can do about it. 4 meters and 20 seconds separate Sort of Skilled from getting a huge boost in time. Can't C9 this one, but it might be the case as low ground main cannot reach that low ground quick enough. Sort of Skilled, at the very least, buy themselves a bit more time.
That kill onto high quality was pretty much all you needed to cap that point, because nobody else on this team, like, out of all these characters, is super good at just stalling the point out like that. You have Tracer and Winston, that's about it. And when Winston goes down, it becomes significantly easier to try and deal with a Tracer. But with that being said, We got an ultimate on both sides, kind of getting close to Pulse Bomb as well, but there is a Nano Boost available for Zebra Cookie, as well as that Kitsune Rush available for Viral on Sword of Skill.
A lot of pressure there was on Dub to try to rise to the occasion, prove that they can meet Kind in Kind, and I feel like they're doing a pretty good job with it. Nano there applied to high quality, looking for the damage, just fries Echo Systems, all that's been hardwired. A great leap right on top of Viral, stomps him like a Goomba. Kind will go down in Kind, but They Call Me M will follow shortly after. So low ground main, hold the line, only losing their Tracer in tow.
And I mean, at the same time, all you had to burn was that Nano Boost, and you managed to get a ton of ult charge. But Sword of Skilled coming in close to these ultimates as well right here. It's going to be really heavily on these DPSs right here. Dub and Dragonor got to have a good fight coming up here. They're the only ones that are going to have ults online.
Echo's been having a hard time with it. You saw that drive-by just kind of swats him like a bug in the air on a windshield. Dragonor almost swatted out once again. In fact, drops to the floor. High quality. Once again, Peerless with the precision. Fred, though, will fall to the opposing Winston, so 1-for-1 DPS, but look how far they're going in the back line. Dub trying to be the advanced party, takes down Zebra Cookie right near their spawn, grabs himself a quick little Debbie snack. Those come in twos, though. Kind will fall as well. Viral wins the 1v1.
And I mean, great fight coming through from Sword of Skilled right there. And Dragonor dying so fast in the last fight means you are going to have your copy available for this next fight. So you got a copy, you've got a Nano Boost. For the other side, Zetteriyaki has this Kitsune, and you have a Primal online.
Oh, you don't have a Tracer, though. Kind makes quick work of that. Zetter does fall into trade. Call Me M. Trying to call this game Dunsky. Lows for the Ana as well. They can take down both supports. Would be a massive boon, but look at the backline. You've left them alone, and High Quality is getting high damage charts as they look for both Viral as well as the Ana. Can they finish the job? Dupe instantly taken out there without much contribution. Kind finishes the job. High Quality takes down Ligma, and Call Me M tears apart two members, still causing chaos. No one can walk out of their spawn. No one can pass go.
I mean, this is how this map should be. I love seeing Winston plays, and especially on a map like Gibraltar, Winston's playground, essentially. Both of these Winston players have been doing such a great job with their Primal Rages, just juggling players, getting those kills back to back. Here we go. We're already set up again. Zebra Cookie essentially onto this Nano Boost for High Quality. You hear in about 5 seconds.
Been loving the audacity of M and Dub alike. Unfortunately, not going to be paid back the best as Pred does take them out. Zebra Cookie will fall in trade thanks to Dragonor. M, though, is down, and with the Pulse Bomb as well, just a punctuation piece to say you've got no chance in this fight. 1 minute left, and I will say, by the skin of their teeth, Sword of Skilled have brought this nearly to its end. With still an ult online that Kitsune Rush and nothing left in low green ground main's tanks. Still got a chance.
I just want to point out, I think Zebra Cookie got their ult taken from them in that last dive attempt. I'm fairly certain they had a Nano Boost, and I did not see anybody get nanoed. So that is a tragic moment to have happen right there, especially with Sword of Skilled having a massive ult advantage now because of it.
Yep, you got Dub now with the Pulse Bomb. Kind's not going to be up there for quite some time. Right on this Cole Cassidy trying to get the damage off as well. Kitsune Rush, here comes the Pulse. Instantly finds Zebra. Once again, Spawn won't save you, old woman. How many times we gotta tell you? Dub now, though, in trouble. Can't find their way to the health pack. Yes, they do. Here comes the Deadeye. Not gonna find it. One more ult robbed from low ground main's pockets. Viral and Ligma both go down, though. No supports left to back up M. And with that, you can call this assault an absolute wash. Sword of Skilled can't find their way.
And there we go, gonna go into overtime right there. Low ground main does manage to hold. Fred just had to swap over to that cast at the end. That's gross. You can't stick a pulse bomb onto the other Tracer. That's a disgusting thing I just witnessed, even if it didn't count.
We're gonna be quickly reporting them, and I think this game will be actually DQ'd. I think that's what I'm hearing from the up top. Can't do that. Nope, not allowed.
Oh my goodness. But even still, if you're Sword of Skilled, that's a really good push on Gibraltar. Gibraltar's
Agreed.
a map that very commonly you can get held on first or second or third. So it's like,
Yep.
hey, getting anywhere on this map is super good.
Nearly happened. In fact, both times they really encountered quite the wall. Not talking about the kind that May spawns up, but especially on that first point, it came down to like last 10 seconds, right? But they found the picks on the tanks. And it's a tough task, especially when you have Kiriko's and Ana's, because it really comes down to who's present to cleanse away those antis at the right moments. I think, honestly, But Ligma and Viral did a great job working together to make sure that M was able to be enabled, just be a menace in the backline, right? We think about that second point where they're able to push past. It's all because M goes primal, becomes a circus monkey, starts juggling everyone out of their spawn, not even allowing them to rush to reinforce the frontline defense.
I mean, like I said, Winston is the carry on this map, right? I know all the other characters look flashy, they're doing these crazy plays and whatnot, but on this map, you are playing for your Winstons to carry you, and so far, the both of them have just been absolutely dominant with their play style, worthy of all the nano boosts that have been going their way. Sort of Skilled has an incredibly greedy composition right now. Anytime I see Ana Zen and you know you're going against a dive comp, that is a greedy comp. You think that you're going to be able to delete anybody that tries to dive you here? That has to be your thought process.
I like the audacity. I'm not going to lie. In practice, I'm a bit worried. That's a lot less healing output. No AoE really coming out aside from those grenades that have all been aimed at the opposing Winston instead. So if you're Viral here, if you're Ligma, you got to make sure that you're accurate, got to make sure you're precise.
No, absolutely. You can't miss any shots. You can't miss any sleep darts for that matter, because as soon as a Winston lands on an Ana and a Zen, they're both pretty much done for at that exact moment. And as good as high quality's been so far, you're asking a lot of your Ana Zen to stay alive through that.
Interesting. Kind switching off the Tracer. They set the mold, and now Dub seems to be the one who's actually inherited the crown. Now on to the Genji instead, trying to, once again, just dive that backline, suss out where they can take out Ligma as well as Viral. It'd be really annoying for the Zenyatta to go up against their apprentice. High quality and Pred, though, both taken out there by one of the Shamadas. Brother versus brother. Blood will spill blood. Kind finds 2 kills.
And I mean, I actually really like the Genji swap here, because when you're trying to get on these two supports, having a deflect available to you when having to deal with this being shot at you 24/7, like, yeah, that's definitely helpful. High quality taken down, they call me M, is going to be a huge sign for low ground main to be able to push forward now.
Just get past that overhang. Once you do that, you're honestly in a far better spot. That overhang is such a death sentence because they come from above, they come from below. And we know low ground likes to keep it low, so sticking down on the ground here is this Winston. But this Hanzo's been an interesting point of attack. They got the dragon shots online, sends it up right on the overhang, and will not find anyone, but does force anyone who's got that high ground to drop. Unfortunately, no one was quite the wise, no one was quite in place for it. They call me M, punches Zebra Cookie in the backside. Ligma finishes the job, and Kind gets pulse bombed out. Dragonor will fall as well, but can High Quality put on a similar performance? A great sleep, but a good Suzu keeps him up. Tranquility is the response.
I mean, that's the best thing that could have happened for you right there if you're low ground main, right? You only used the one ultimate, you got Transcendence out, essentially just because your Winston was up on the high ground with that nano boost. That's huge value. Now you can re-engage with this Kitsune rush. Oh, I love this play right now.
This is solid. Now they got to try to get back in. Take down that Zen, honestly, but the Nano is going to enable, they call me M, to try to find some good damage. Viral does get taken out there by the Apprentice, becomes the Master, but unfortunately the older brother knows best. Will find Kind, Zebra Cookie, and Pred all torn away. A good melee from Dub, knocks Zet in the back and finishes the job. High quality as well will fall. So with 1 meter separating them from that point, low ground just barely not able to come up with the first point.
This is the fight that has to, this is the one you have to win right here, right? No ultimates for Sort of Skilled. You have a Primal Rage. We've seen how good High Quality's been with those so far. You got an Overclock if you're Pred. Hey, it's up to these two players here. You got to make a big play.
I don't mind that. It's your carry, and also Pred has been awfully scary themselves. High Quality goes in over top. You see the backline's getting poked out. Kind's got to be careful, preserve their own life as well. Even if you don't have an ultimate, that Genji is very useful to occupy Viral's time. Where's that Discord orb going to be placed? Also a point of intrigue. 30 seconds left. The move's got to come quick.
Nice dive coming through from High Quality, just immediately forcing this Zenyatta out. Of course, you know, Zenyatta can fly now, because that's one of the perks, remember that?
Doesn't matter, he can fly back to the pearly gates of heaven. Kind finishes the job, Overclock, takes down Dub, and Dragonor falls as well. Payload, though, is winding back, and you got 5 seconds. Someone get your feet over to that gosh darn cart. They call me M will fall. Ligma as well. It's going to be an OT, but they will make it to that first objective. Wait, hold on. Maybe don't speak too soon. Dragon Shot comes through, but Dub, unfortunately, couldn't find the hero play they were quite looking for. So low ground main stays alive.
I mean, you know, I understand why you just toss the dragon out there just to see, you know, maybe you get something. But, you know, there's not really much value to be had there.
It was cinematic.
And now it's just there you go. You get the cinematic moment. But now you're such an ultimate disadvantage here if you're low ground main for this next fight.
Dub's been doing a pretty good job with the pulse bomb so far. Good double ante on a kind as well. Does force them to reconsider their approach, but High Quality only knows one approach. W key, suckers, they go in. Question is, can Dub find maximum value there? Looking for it. You can tell they really want to try to find one of these backliners. It's a very frenetic battle, and in the meantime, your backline's in trouble as well. Dub goes in instantly. It's blown up by the anti-nade. The anti-pulse bomb nade, you might call it. Ult used for no avail. High Quality will fall. Zebra Cookie as well. Dragonor on this Hanzo has been finding quite a few picks. Takes down Kind, Zed as well, before they finally meet their end at the end of that railgun. Pred popping off like they do.
And I mean, the one positive there if you're low ground main is you get the nano boost out, so you don't have to worry about the nano boost. Yeah, and that's your positive for that fight. And low ground main, you essentially have 4 ultimates online going into this fight. I'm hoping to see a nano blade here. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen one.
Yeah, Pred's gonna go down for old time's sake. Why don't you just please kindly grant us that kind if you don't mind? Good ante. Going to this time be used for healing and defense instead of on the attack. They call me M, forced to back away, recognizing that those double sustains are gonna be a bit too much to deal with, and they have got to back up to their own supports instead. 50 seconds left, sort of skilled, proven. They can do pretty well under pressure, but let's see how low ground main do. It's what got them past that first point. Can they make lightning strike twice?
I mean, it feels like here you probably you need to just get one early kill, and you should be able to cap, or at least get a decent bit of push on this cart with just one early kill and forcing the rest of the sword skill back.
Uh-oh, this is trouble. The Dragon Blade almost finds the Hanzo, but Virals is going to be the first target. Dragonor goes down instead of the other Kiriko's blades. They go in looking for the Ana too. The backline's been eviscerated. Pred, though, and Zebra Cookie will fall as well to the opposing divers. You left your backline alone, and they will respond in kind with wanton violence. Zed and Kind will both fall as they continue to hold the Dragon Shots just as a celebration. 5 seconds ticking down, sort of skilled, proven. They are far more than the name might imply. Kitsune Rush gonna mean you're rushed back to the underworld. High Quality and Kind go down. Pred as well, sort of skilled. Hold their ground and take map 2.
Oh my goodness, I doubted the Hanzo for the defense there, but my goodness, Dragonor just landing headshot after headshot with that Hanzo. That was the most impressive thing of that map to me.
There, we can see it in nice well, not slow motion, but we can see it now up close. Dragonor on the offense. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, finds the dragon. We didn't get to see that, but I'm sure it looked really cool. They just got the storm arrows too in the back of High Quality. It's in the name, dragon. You know, they got the heart of the dragon, they got the name of the dragon, and they clearly got the skills to back it up. I will admit, I too was not quite convinced, but I think maybe just standing down and having something a bit more removed from the fight rather than that Echo who has to get a bit more up close and personal seemed to pay them back just a bit better, and also was forcing a lot of attention. How many times do we have to see Kind try to go in to finish the job? And I felt like it was a coin flip sometimes, even when they closed the difference, that sometimes the Hanzos still came out on top.
No, they absolutely did for sure. And like I said, you have to hit those headshots, and that's what Dragonor was consistently doing, just landing headshots on people that are just, you know, right here. It's like right here in front of them, that far away. Like if you're hitting the headshots like that consistently, Hanzo becomes a totally different and much more viable character.
Very impressive, and we are going to be hippity hopping back shortly into some more matches, but unfortunately we got to take a quick little break, so grab your water, grab your popcorn. Game 3 coming at you in just a bit between these two amazing teams.
Don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. bit of fun till our downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
everyone. Welcome back to CGL Season 15. Winners Finals here. The Masters Division, sort of skilled. Low ground main, all tied up 1-1. D-Lo, as well as Shadowfang, here to bring you the fun. We got our friends Time to Light and Mara, Almighty Eyes in the Sky. It's all tied up. It's all intense, Shadowfang. How we feeling?
I mean, happy with how competitive it's been so far, at the very least. Even with these teams having their mirror matchups, I like how they took it. I like how Sort of Skilled took it over to Gibraltar and then was like, okay, we have a good idea of what you guys are going to play here, but we're going to play this sniper character, Hanzo, and just kind of sit back in the back. It was a lot harder to get that value with that Echo on the attack, but once you had that Hanzo sitting back on defense, it was significantly easier. And it looks like low ground main has brought us to the tried and true King's Row here for map number 3 tonight.
Bit of a hybrid option. We were talking to the green room about how maybe we were expecting some push. Maybe we were expecting some flashpoint. What do you think is the logic here by low ground main? Is this maybe like an ego run back? They say, no, we can push cart still.
Well, they won Lijiang Tower, right? That's one of the maps. They won the first map that everybody knows like the back of their hand. So go on ahead and play the second map that everyone knows like the back of their hand. They're like, this is the one. We're good at this one too. All right, we know how to play this map too. You know, so that's the only idea I've got here. There's also the fact that they're low ground main. Maybe they want to run some low ground comps like some Ramatra or something.
Some venture maybe below ground even.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be the case. Well,
That's
we're gonna
the
find out
lowest
if it's even allowed. The lowest of grounds. We get into these hero picks and bans. Maybe they ban venture, saying we know you want to be low on the ground. How about we just keep that away from you in the first place? Might not be the best option, but hey, you never know until we find out. So we could talk about this once again. We've seen Winston the entire way through. Do we expect that to change here on King's Row, or is it going to be the same old story?
I think it's going to change here. I'm expecting low ground main to run some Ramatra, so I think they're going to ban Orisa here. So that's my immediate guess is get the Orisa out of the way. You got to see us on Ramatra or Reinhardt or maybe like a Junker Queen or something. Like you got to see us in that matchup, not Orisa. Winston gets banned. Fair enough. It's still a tank ban.
It's definitely close enough, you know, like Orisa, Winston, if you like close both your eyes and like turn around and like shut off your computer, they kind of look like the same character, you know? But yes, still tanking. Maybe it's just like the sour taste in their mouth of thinking like, I'm just tired of Winston. I want to see a different character, all right? Let's ditto on something different. Sort of skill now up to the plate. You can ban something away as well. I'm just trying to think as far as like what's been a consistent nuisance. Kind switched off the Tracer, so honestly I'm not even like too worried about it anymore since they seem to get forced off by the fact that Dub, in a sense, rose to the occasion and almost surpassed them on the same character. So I want to say that's just throw some good retroactive praise back to Dub for being able to shove off the competition like that. What does that leave open, though, that might be something sort of skilled want to take off the map?
Kiriko. My guess is Kiriko or Baptiste. It depends on what sort of heavy brawl style wants to be played here by either team. Mei. Okay, same concept, different role. So, you know, I had the right idea. I was just in the wrong area code, right? Like, I delivered my pizza 2 houses too far down.
Dude, if it's me that's getting that free pizza, I'm not complaining. However, if I'm the one who Uber Eats that, I'm pissed. I'm calling customer support. I'm giving you a 0-star rating. I'm taking back my tip and everything. That being said, Mei, I think, is a very good ban. I saw what Celestial Knights could do with this. The player Jordan, especially with King's Row, where there's so few limited areas of entry to get down to that point. If you're able to wall off a tank, especially now that you don't have Winston who can just kind of vertically surpass that wall. Now, if it is indeed the Ramatra who's got to kind of just tiptoe on past and can easily get separated from the rest of the team, Mei is such a hassle to deal with when she's on defense. So I definitely understand the logic sort of skill to have there.
Yeah, definitely. It tells me that sort of skill does believe that this Ramatra is about to come out as well. And with the Mei no longer being in play, that leaves open a couple of things, and there is a substitution that came through here. It was just a role swap, though. Zebra Cookie is now coming in on that tank, and High Quality is swapping over to that support. If I recall correctly, High Quality is a crazy good Lucio player. I could be misremembering that, but I remember High Quality being a really good Lucio player, and Zebra Cookie is really good at just running it down mid. So that kind of feeds into what I'm thinking is about to happen here with maybe some Ryan or Ramatra coming out.
Maybe even also further explains the fact of why Zebra Cookie and the rest of low ground banned away that Winston, maybe not feeling as comfortable as high quality does on that same pick and
Yeah.
saying, we don't want to see the enemy play that instead, so we're just going to go out with this instead. So I like it. I do like the adjustments we're seeing from low ground main. They're not being stubborn. They're saying, hey, this is kind of old news to us, right? We talked about the fact that both these teams have been through very competitive series to get to this point, to get to the winners finals podium. And it's just another regular day for them. It's a normal day in the life as they just continue to try to scrap back and forth. Hoping to see, though, we get more similarly competitive matches. I mean, you talk about the fact that it's these maps that you know like the back of your hand, and low ground main in that first map, they knew where to pick the fights. You've got to hope Sort of Skill this time have done their homework.
No, absolutely. If there was a map for you to be able to do that on, it would be King's Row. I feel like everybody knows King's Row super well. The only thing I think is going to change up right now is you've got Zebra Cookie, who is like a W presser. Always, W is always pressed. I don't even think they have any other key on their keyboard. It's just all W's all the time, right? So be ready for that. Even if this Ryan comes out right now, I wouldn't even be shocked if it was like a Juno Lucio. We just go pure speed. Just go as fast as we possibly can. And I like what I'm seeing here as well. Sort of skilled running this Ramatra. That is a trick. That is a trick. Ramatra does not counter Ryan. It's a trick. If you can keep your Ryan alive through these punches, the Shatters are beyond free going into this comp.
I do like the fact there's also a lot of evasive options to evade Annihilation, which is such a good trump card, especially when it's around a control-oriented objective, which is where we're starting off on this hybrid map. So if They Call Me M pops that Annihilation, you need to try to bail yourself out in a pinch. Grapple hook, slide, charge, speed boost, Kitsune Rush, a million ways in one to make sure you're not caught in the area of effect.
And I mean, just starting off here, it's going to be interesting because look at They Call Me M just running it down already.
Yeah, it seems like they're the one with all W keys as well. Playing like-minded to our friend Zebra Cookie, who's got to try to hold face a little bit here down main. Kai now still operating on this Genji. Dub responds in kind as well. So once again, a bit of ego between these two DPS. Gonna be interesting to see how it goes down with Dragon Ore on the Ashe, though. These sniper characters where they saw the most success last time, hopefully they could repeat the same action.
And I mean, I almost think Zebra Cookie has to take that high ground as well, just to kind of force these supports off of this spot, not just let them be comfortable.
Yeah, you see your Dragon Ores right there. Use the coach gun to blast themselves back to safety once their dwellers try to invade. Finding some great shots on top of the Ryan. Low health there. Forced to retreat, but not before They Call Me M's head with that Flame Strike.
And that's the power of Zebra Cookie's Ryan right there in action. Took a little while to get going, but if you let people stand in front of this Reinhardt, they are going to eventually fall. And we're seeing the Ryan mirror. It's happened, people. I can't believe it actually happened.
More accurate. Only characters allowed here on the PvE, and now it seems the same with the PvP. Payload so easily secured there by our friends on low ground main. That W key strategy worked oh so well. Why do we think Sort of Skilled crumbled?
I mean, it was just losing They Call Me M. As soon as you allow your Ramatra to go down, that's it. Zebra Cookie no longer has any resistance, just gets to walk as much as they want to. High quality taking down Dub there is not what you want to see, but here comes They Call Me M with the rebuttal.
Two people adorning their axe, looking for the Lucio right afterwards, says, hey, if I can't have one, you can't either. As they quickly dispense them with the axe. Zebra Cookie finding a kill of their own there, does manage to invade and disassemble Dragon Ore with ease. Nonetheless, though, we're seeing that low ground main kind of on the lead foot here. Now it's Sort of Skill marching to the beat of their drum.
Oh, they absolutely are. The pin comes in. I'd be watching out for Zebra Cookie Shatter here. It could be big time.
Is Zebra Cookie not going to instead use it, but They Call Me M is going to fall. Tsune Rush expended. Kind could elect to use that Dragon Blade should they so please. Keep it nice and safe. And Zebra Cookie just wisely retreating. Some uncharacteristic restraint from the Rhine, but look how far up they are from the payload, securing so much space on the Vanguard for the rest of the team, and still aggressive.
And this is the moment we've all been waiting for, people. Both Ryans have Shatter. This is the moment I've been waiting for, at least.
This is scary stuff. Overclock here from Pred. Just kind of keeping a watchful eye. Try to step out, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Flame Strike, though, maybe forces you to retreat back instead. High ground secured here by low ground main, but the Ash trying to smoke them out. Will it be successful? Shatter comes down from both, but there's not much effect to be had. Sound Barrier in response to both. We're going tit for tat. Dragon Blade on Dragon Blade, but who studied it better? Kind's at nothing left in the tank. Dub still trying to find something, but then we call M trying to prove that they are the superior Ryan, taking down Zebra Cookie. Only body to fall so far. They charge forward with Wanted, abandoned. They don't quite find their quarry. Sojourn with a great slide out of danger, and High Quality with a good boop to get them back. They call me M, sent to spawn.
That is a tough one to lose right there. Losing They Call Me M means this fight is so beyond losable now if you're sort of skilled. You have to be careful not to lose anybody else.
And now the Zebra Cookie goes back in with Wanted, abandoned, finds the Flame Strike. Ash, you've got no one to back you up. No bomb, no health. Dub goes in, finds the deflect, but unfortunately finds their own doom as Pred finishes the job. Kitsune Rush dropped by Zed-Air. Try to grab a bit more speed there as They Call Me M. Charges back in, but quickly's got to put back up the shield. Swipes at the Genji just once, but now on retreat, now in defeat. Kind finishes the job.
Oh, that's rude. Getting your Fire Strike deflected, and that's how you go down. You hate to see it as a Rhine main, but it happens to everybody. And there is a Kitsune Rush advantage here for sort of skilled. That's the big ultimate online. Pred getting close on this overclock as well, but I really think the Kitsune Rush should be the deciding factor for sort of skilled.
Battle of the Rhine so far. They're the true carries, as that's always been. Kitsune Rush is dropped. Don't have too much room to operate with. Zebra Cookie's already trying to back things up to ensure the rest of the team can regroup. Unfortunately, maybe regroup closer to that spawn side as They Call Me M does take them down with that Flame Strike. Secures their ultimate as well. They have that advantage, but for not too much time. Zebra Cookie now approaching Shatter as well.
This is where you could get creative if you're your Call Me M right here. You just have to figure out when you want to do this. Pred going early, though, and getting that kill onto Dragonor.
Already a great start with the overclock. Shatter does find in the back. The shield dropped at just the wrong time. Dub takes advantage and finds High Quality. Shatter is secured for Zebra Cookie as well. But do they want to use it when they don't have the advantage? A great shield saves the rest of the team from a similar fate. Dragon Blade out here. Dub secures theirs, but do they decide to use it? No, too late. They're dead too. Zebra Cookie finishes the job. Low ground main continue to advance, but Zebra Cookie will be the cost.
Oh my goodness, They Call Me M just feels unkillable on this Reinhardt right now. I mean, like, my goodness, they're doing such a good job of staying alive. And look at the sound barrier.
They charge their own Lucio. Maybe, unfortunately, those dupes starting to trick you up as well. That's okay. High Quality has sound barrier of their own if they want to use it, but elects to keep it in pocket, waiting for Zebra Cookie to regroup the rest of the team. Still 2 minutes left. Plenty of time for low ground main to try, but they're playing like it's only 15 seconds. They're playing like it's OT. Bob's got to do something quick.
And what a good Bob placement, honestly. It just forces a full retreat. Kind managing to take down that Bob, though. And Pred getting Ligmatos. This is not good for sort of skilled.
Oh, but they might go down in the pit themselves. I got worried there for a second. Able to save themselves. Low ground now established their presence around the corner. Sound barrier in response to Dub's Dragon Blade. Not going to be able to really chew through all that health. They Call Me M falls down. Formerly immortal, now they taste defeat. They taste that afterlife. Pred in trouble, in-stop the corridors. Gets the stick on top of the Lucio. Not going to be enough, though. The two supports manage to trump the one DPS. Dragonor and Dub both get wiped away. Waves a quick hello before you can kiss the rest of the team goodbye. Shatter comes down there from They Call Me M. They finish off Zebra Cookie. Kind will drop as well. Sort of skilled, not out of this one yet.
And I mean, it doesn't really cost you much, honestly. You just burn the Shatter, which not a huge deal to lose that, especially if you're going to retake the point. And now we're down to a minute left, but a lot of ultimates online for both sides. And Vero has to be nearly perfect with the timing on this sound barrier right here for sort of skill to win this fight.
Shatter and overclock. Kitsune Rush coming up as well. Venture, hey, we are going low ground, but it's sort of skilled who take the pick instead. Sound barrier does come out, keeps Venture safe, but for not much longer. She's 6 feet under low ground now. Zebra Cookie takes that kill away as Kitsune is dropped, as well as that Dragon Blade diving into the backline deep. Low ground main continue to slice and dice their way through as the point reaches its succession.
Yeah, too many ults. Low ground main just had way too many ults, and when Zebra Cookie landed that Shatter, that pretty much, that was the moment right there, because you don't have the time for to hold the sound barrier long enough for some of these other ults to get burnt through. So you're just shattered and getting just absolutely annihilated by an overclock at the exact same time. That chews through that sound barrier so fast.
I mean, let's just talk about this, right? The fact that it's been, I feel like, tank on tank the entire time. You talk about the fact that tanks are carries, maybe not quite as much this time around, since a Winston obviously can just kind of dive in even with or without ult, especially when you have an Ana backing you up. But nonetheless, how do we feel like They Call Me M is doing rising that occasion? They saw the aggression that Zebra Cookie was putting out there. They switched back. Now they are going on the hazard, but nonetheless, my question to you is, how do we feel like these tanks are going tit for tat? Who's got the edge so far?
I mean, honestly, I think Zebra Cookie's been doing better in the neutral, and They Call Me M has been doing better with their ultimates so far. That's what it looks like. That's why the time is as low as it is, because there's more fights you're gonna be with no ultimates as opposed to having your ultimates. So that's what it feels like, at least for the time being.
Well, They Call Me M. Losing in terms of internet connection.
Yeah.
Experiencing a quick little DDoS attack there from our friends on low ground. Seems to have, maybe if we can't win on the field and we instead win in the battle of cyber attacks. But unfortunately, we're going to take a quick little pause there, back out of the game, but that gives us time to reassess everything that went down. So let's talk about it here. The fact that low ground just kind of walked at him. You mentioned the fact that it was a key game, and they absolutely met that plan to great fruition. Sort of skilled on their side. What do we do to stop them? How do we slow their roll?
I mean, I think Sort of Skill did a great job of slowing their roll, quite frankly, on third point, because that
on
was
third, yes.
Yes, that was becoming like a very fast push for low ground main, and essentially they only ended up losing because they just ran out of ultimates. They just ran out of ultimates. Low ground main had 4 ultimates to their sound barrier. That was it. So it was like you had to block the shatter. You had to essentially hide from the overclock, not get killed by it. You had to time the sound barrier perfectly. It's like it was too many things that were working against you in that last fight for Sort of Skilled. So I honestly would not even feel bad about losing that last fight in particular.
Well, luckily you feel good about getting your teammate back. They Call Me M, back from a short little sabbatical on this hazard. And we can see as well that we're changing up the support backlines a bit too. Zenyatta will be trying to put the Eye of Ire, that Discord orb, likely on whatever tank that we see Zebra Cookies W keying at you with. Is this a changeup that we like, or are we a bit worried about the lack of heals we have overall?
I don't dislike the pick here for sure, but I think you're still running into the same issue of, like, especially now, you've got high quality on this Juno, so you have Juno Ana backing up a Reinhardt. That's a lot of healing that's going to be able to go into all these characters, honestly.
Question is, how do you try to eliminate that? You don't have an anti on your side. You don't really have any means of trying to ward off that with raw damage and burst alone, and that's not going to come super easily. I mean, Genji's not going to be whittling down a Rein. Neither is a Sojourn. A great pin, in fact, finds Sojourn and absolutely just decimates their health bar. Zebra Cookie continuing to find that offense. Clearly, this rotation and rolls has proven to be fruitful for low ground.
But meanwhile, back here in the other spot of the map, you see Dub and Vero getting 2 kills, and that is not what you want to see if you're low ground, man.
Yeah, you talk about the fact that Zebra Cookie can remain sustained for so long, so Sort of Skilled say, all right, we'll just kill anyone who's going to sustain you. It's a great strategy, and now, even without having to kill the entire team, Zebra Cookie recognize the fact that they stand at a very large disadvantage, have to back up, concede that point, in a very similar way to how low ground were able to take it in one concerted push. Same similar story. Kine gets absolutely torn apart there by the violent leap from They Call Me M, the spike shield as well. Getting a bit more pressure. They go back in for second. Zaytair gets taken out there by Ligma. Low ground is getting disassembled each single time. One more body drops on the floor, and Juno gets sliced out of the sky. Brett shot down.
Oh, I mean, that's just, they're playing, Sort of Skill is playing their comp perfectly right now. The comp is just kind of meant to just spread out and fight. It's interesting. So both of your supports are kind of playing for damage, essentially. That's the idea here. Play for damage. Discord, whoever They Call Me M is going on, and just try and delete a target super fast. Don't let Zebra Cookie really be able to walk on anybody.
Yeah, because wherever Zebra Cookie walks, suddenly they're gone. A lot of mobility on this side, save for our friend Viral. That's okay if you can't access the Zenyatta. You can't access them at all because you're just too busy hiding behind that shield. Kitsune Rush comes out there from Ligma, trying to retain their safety, but will it be enough? Viral drop down to very low. Spike shield comes through. Dragonor finally gets flame charged. A good thing there for low ground to try to get a bit of respite into this fight as they start to advance.
I mean, Zebra Cookie just doing a really good job of just kind of taking this space right now. Gonna try and catch out Vero here. And I mean, that's a worthwhile exchange if you're low ground main. You're not mad to see that.
Dragon Blade on top, the overclock comes from their side. Pred trying to find some kills in the madly dashing Genji. Kind will go down to Dub. No blade necessary. Zebra Cookie will be gobbled up right after. Pred and High Quality fall as well. It's a near team kill. Zetair, the sole survivor.
I mean, that's 3 ultimates coming out there from Sword of Skilled. You get the Downpour, you get the Blade, and you get the Transcendence out. That's a lot. And so now when you're low ground main, this Shatter should be incredibly easy for Zebra Cookie.
Just got to make sure it doesn't encounter a wall, but it's already been used. Line them up and let it rip. Beyblade, baby, but you can tell the Zebra Cookie trying to find their opportune moment. They do manage to only get the tank, and Dub will fall as well, taking all the wind out of the sails so far, but Kind continues to move forward with the Dragon Blade in tow if they decide to use it, but already having the man advantage, decides to play this one nice and slow. Sort of Skilled agree, they retreat.
I mean, that's really all you need. You just need the 1 kill. You managed to land the Shatter onto the Hazard and the Genji sitting over there in the tunnel, and now Kind looking for this Blade. This would be a pretty good time to pull it too if you catch somebody.
And indeed, they will begin the onslaught. Slice them apart, but look at that health drop just as soon after. Viral will fall, takes down Dub as well. Zebra Cookie finishes the job on top of Ligma. This time tripling the amount of kills, quadrupling, nay, as Pred finishes the job on 1 more. Can we get the team wipe? Not quite, but still amazing work so far from low ground.
No, absolutely. And they're doing such a good job of cycling these ultimates because now you're left with a sound barrier, and you have it just in time for a Kitsune Rush and an overclock. So it's like, okay, High Quality, can you give us a high quality sound barrier here? Because low ground main still does have the ability to take this fight.
Yeah, you looked at the one fight that you mentioned where they used 3 ultimates, and sure, very successful for Sword of Skilled, but now it's left them kind of starved the entire rest of this push. Still a lot separating from them in that second point. They gotta reach it to have hope of taking down this 3rd map and getting the tiebreaker in their favor. Overclock is popped there from Dragon War, but around the corner, Sound Barrier instantly is the response. 2 ultimates for 1, it's a GameStop trade, but taking Zebra Cookie's life, now that's one I like.
No, absolutely. And I mean, that's just kind of what happens when you have a Discord Orb onto a Reinhardt. And no kills still coming through just yet for low ground main. Viral popping off on this Zenyatta.
Just great damage. Like I said, the supports, by no means are they slouches when it comes to the DPS. Kind will fall after a quick swift strike. Swiftly results in their end. Second point assured. 3 minutes still on the clock. Plenty of time.
I mean, honestly, if you're low ground main, that's about as well as you could have played that ultimate exchange. You saved yourself from both of the ultimates, but then Viral just hitting the shots on the Zenyatta was really what did you in. And now here we go. Sword of Skilled has these 3 ultimates online. You got a Blade, Downpour, and a Transcendence again. And if you decide low ground main, all you have is a Kitsune Rush.
Your best hope is to try to stall them out. Zebra Cookie now switching to the Ramatra, saying that that Discord Orb was a bit too much for me. Trying to maintain a bit more mobility and a bit more tankiness as well. Suzu there to make sure that they call me M stays up and safe. Continue rush there from Zetair just to force them back. Here comes the Downpour, gonna root down the tank so that way Hazard can leap in the back with violence. Pred gonna take out their opposition. Dragon War will go down. The overclock as well as they continue to pop off. Ligma will fall. Spike Shield does mean the tank stays alive for now. Zenyatta unfortunately left behind. No one could pick them up. No mobility to speak of. They will fall just as M does too. Low ground hold off.
Oh, that's a tough fight to lose there if you're sort of skilled. Your Downpour combo just getting Suzu'd by Zetariaki there. Dub does have the Blade available. This is probably going to be as good a time as any to pull it as well. I mean, there's no support ultimates online, and I love Viral swapping over this Lucio. Give your Genji a bit of a speed boost.
Well, don't you wish you had a sound barrier right now, Barrel? Could be useful against Kind with the Blade, but maybe not even necessary. If they get put down without contributing one bit, Dub manages to finish him out at long range, what Kind couldn't do up close.
And here comes the Kitsune Rush out from Ligmatos. Might be something here.
See if they can find it. Dragon Blade there from Dub. Annihilation is the big trump card from Zebra Cookie. Can they find the damage, or will Dub not even leave them anything but corpses to handle? Zebra Cookie does find the job, finally putting them down, but the damage might have been too great already. Zebra Cookie not able to find too much besides that Genji. Zenter does fall though. Dragonor continue to do their own damage on the overclock. Does manage to take down Zebra Cookie as well, so it does seem sort of skilled, are able to come out. A new dawn, a new day. They stay standing. 1 minute left remaining as they're able to finish the job with just barely the advantage over low ground.
That was 49 seconds to 47 seconds. That is insanely close between these two teams. And I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else, based on what we've seen so far. These teams are just neck and neck, and they're just swapping comps left, right, and center. I didn't think I was going to see Hazard today. I was really surprised by that. So I don't mind the Hazard into the Ramatra as well. I think that can still be a good matchup for low ground, man.
You just dive past him. Honestly, if you want to see an Orisa, I think this is a moment where I'd love to see an Orisa, just because I don't want her to get out mobility. And the fact that if you drop down a barrier, I just violently leap right past it. It's not an issue for me, and then I knock back the entire team. You mentioned that one play where it almost nearly worked, but then it was a great Suzu that actually managed to bail out the entirety of the team. But nonetheless, I do love the fact that Sort of Skilled, they're being a bit more fluid. They're playing a bit more like water. We no longer need to try to match the aggression and the picks that you're doing. If we see a solution that's not being played yet, we're going to try it and see how it goes.
And yeah, it worked very well to their advantage for basically that entire attack. They didn't seem to have an answer for that Rhine until they were like, wait a minute, let's just never attack the Rhine.
Yes!
Let's go get everybody else.
It was brilliant, right? I mean, you talked about the fact that if you stand in front of the Rhine, at the very beginning of the first round we saw it, you stand in front of this Rhine, you stand in front of our friend W Key Zebra Cookie, you're gonna die. How about I just don't stand anywhere freaking near him instead, and I just kill the rest of them? And at that point, you got nothing you can do.
And it's looking like we are going back to mirror compositions here.
Boo!
The tried and true mirror comps for overtime, unless Sort of Skilled is actually going to come out on some Pharah here, which I don't mind. I don't mind a Pharah. Okay, looks like we have another disconnect, so disregard. Zebra Cookie has left the lobby.
It's every tank, man. All the tanks.
Zebra Cookie has re-entered the lobby.
Huge. Big news. Can I say real quick, Zebra Cookie, it's Zebra Cakes, right? Are we talking about the Little Debbie snacks, or are we talking about black and white cookies? Because I know those are also sometimes called Zebra Cookies, but for my money, the superior snack is Zebra Cakes, if you know what I'm talking about. Surely you're a knower, Bang.
I typically go for Christmas tree cakes, personally.
Christmas tree. Hold on, let me look this up. Let me put myself on game real quick. Christmas tree.
They only
cakes.
come out during Christmas, but they're probably the best
cute.
tasting. They're probably the best tasting. They had an ice cream that had that in it.
That does look delicious.
I ate it one time, and I was like, I can't have this again.
It's too dangerous. Just like these two teams, just like this Pharah that's being taken up to the skies. The friends on Zebra Cookie do get back in the game, so at the very least, no 5v4s here. That would be no fun. And then we decided to go back to the tried and true. Kind sticking to this Genji dub, back on what seemed to bring them quite a bit of success prior. Tracer.
Yeah, I'm going to be really curious to see the difference between this Genji and Tracer, how they're going to play this map.
High mobility, high octane is going to be the name of the game. And we're a Matra too, so tanks now this time. It's, again, all about execution. You can't blame it on your counter picks. You can't blame it on your connection. Well, maybe you could if you're Zebra Cookie or they've been having a hard time with that. But Dragonor having a hard time with the dive there from Kind. Does finish the job. That Voracious Vortex gobbles up M's mobility options. And Kind finishes off the life bar. Low ground main. Seems like we've had a trend here on Kings Row so far. One push is all you need and the point's yours.
Absolutely. It seems like each team is like, okay, this is how we're going to attack it this time. And they're doing a great job of that. Kind taking down Dragonor super early. It's hard to deal with a Genji up close on these high grounds when you're on any of these hit scan picks. And here we are, we're in overtime. So somebody has to stay on this cart. You cannot leave this cart.
Don't you dare take 10 toes off, but look what you see Sort of Skill trying to do. Assailing them from the back, trying to force someone to maybe get a bit fritzy and take their feet off it so a good Lucio bump can ensure that you get a bit of that time. The longer this OT runs, the less time you have to spare if anyone separates himself from the objective, which gets incredibly tense. Fred gonna make it a bit more intense as they call me M, takes them out. A nice strike to the chin. Dragonor finishes off Kind. Low ground main, dropping like flies. Zebra Cookie gets gobbled up. High quality after. Zepter, the last one left. That Kitsune rush is not going to help you, as we're in a rush to get this game done. Sort of Skill. Keep it going.
Well, if you're low ground main, the positive here is that you capped first point. You capped first point, and you essentially got to the gate. So you, in your mind, you have to be like, we can't give up first. That has to just be what you're thinking here.
Yep.
Not, we have a little bit more to go. No, just don't give up first at all. You're going to have the time to recontest just due to the fact that that cart takes like a million years to pull up out of that, what is that, like a garage over there or something?
That's true.
it takes so long to pull out of there, so you will have another fight afterwards. But I think you need to make sort of skilled, depending on how long this fight goes, burn their ultimates on the capture, not the fight after the capture, if you even get to that point.
They have 2 more seconds than them, Shadowfang. It's not even fair. How are they supposed to defend when they've got 2 more seconds? I mean, low ground main, you've got to. There's a lot of pressure here because, again, every single time it's been a first push. Can you be the one team that was actually able to stand strong after a full-out offense? I don't know. There's certainly both teams are certainly capable of it, but for some reason it just feels like whenever we're around these stagnant points, just everyone just crumbles like paper.
That is pretty much what's been happening so far. Seems like anytime somebody's sitting on high ground, so in this case it's going to be like Pred, right? Seems like the Sojourn players are usually just getting dove upon by these Genjis and just taken out super early, so you just can't let that happen.
Try to have someone ready to babysit. Try to have someone with good callouts of where the Genjis are expending their switch strikes, how long they're on cooldown and such. They call me M. The high ground as well, sticking to the hazard, brought them success last time, hoping for a repeat of that action. Finally leaps in, but a swift strike is immediately going to be the response to keep Kind safe so far. Low ground, playing it slow, playing it careful, playing it safe.
I mean, good job just burning time at the very least. If you can get this to overtime before a touch even really starts to happen, that's probably super ideal for low ground, man.
See that Dragonor, so scared they start shooting their own teammate. No friendly fire, luckily, but they call me M is down, and that's a huge pickup there for low ground main. The hazard was such a big problem for him prior. Now don't need to worry about it. Dragonor as well, taking off on the chopping block. Pred is low, same with Kind. He's sustained right back up. No, Kind will fall. Ligma proving they're just as capable with the shurikens as well as the heals. Now they're trying to step up to the point. OT is guaranteed. Sort of skilled. Have got to put it all on the line now, but the spike shield being drained away slowly. They got to step up, but someone's got to touch right now. Tank drop low. Got the Suzu to make sure you don't go down to 0. Leaps back in. Dub finds incredibly important kill on the Sojourn, just like you said. The dive is thriving. Kitsune keeps the Paragon going, and now it's already 1 tick guaranteed. Spike shield ensures you're under a hail of arrows and bullets if you try to step up. Annihilation's not going to be enough. Your chances to keep the point have just been decimated. Zebra Cookie goes down.
Oh, this is the worst thing that could have happened for low ground main. You're getting close on this overclock, but Transcendence is available, and you don't have anything for this. You almost kind of want to swap Ana here just to have a chance for the Transcendence to not be useful.
We got a snowball roll on down over them. All about speed now and aggression and tenacity. Dig in your heels. You cannot give an inch lest it be the cinch they take on over you. 3 meters separate them. An instant tranquility is a response. Pred gets dropped by Dragonor. The dupes are duping and they're getting scooped on up too. The Kitsune is not going to be enough as Kind will fall. Both DPS down, dead in the ground. Hamston is going to be taken out too. High quality will fall. Sort of skilled. Able to push on through. They win the tiebreaker.
Oh, and it was in just, the ults just went in their favor again. That's what kept happening on this map over and over again. Just the ult cycling was just going their way. You know, having Transcendence online for that last fight, that is the best case scenario. Like, there is not a better case scenario than having Transcendence of all ultimates available to you for last fight.
Tragic, man. I mean, well, not tragic, because honestly, what amazing game. Like, we benefit, we win. Casters will win. Who wins? We do. You do. You are at home. And so do Sort of Skill. They win that game for sure. It was so tight, right? Like, you lost M. I thought it was Dunsky. They had the mobility, and again, they have that perseverance. This is what I think always going to make the difference between a good team and a great team, is having that OT, and you do not relent off the gas nary a tad. You keep on pushing until everyone is dead or until we see the victory screen on our side.
Yep, exactly. And now here we are. We're at match point. You know, match point for Sort of Skill.
Whew.
So low ground man, you got to pull out, you know, what you can from, because you just pulled out King's Row, which I would say is probably the map that you would want to pick. So now you're stuck with push or flashpoint. So probably Saravasa. That's my preliminary guess, is they're gonna pick Saravasa because everybody loves that map.
Big fan of Cerveza over here, but we're not letting the beer flow. We got to keep our sobriety, our clarity around us here so far. But low ground main, they took that first map so decisively, right?
Yeah.
What happened? I know it was oftentimes, you mentioned the fact that they just seem to understand the map better. Is that the only advantage they held over sort of skilled, or have they lost some of their mojo? How have we fallen so far? It seems like a distant memory when they were so dominant.
No, like it absolutely does. And I mean, so with them being as dominant as they were, that was just on the one particular point. That second point that they won on Lijiang, the other point was a 99-99 point. And from what we've seen so far, pretty much all of these maps have been like one fight maps, just every single time. Gibraltar was maybe like a 2-fight map, you know, a little bit further maybe. But, you know, I mean, my goodness, King's Road, that was last fight. You know, both teams made it to overtime. It just, the ultimates just kind of fell their way. Whereas on Lijiang Tower, it really just felt like low ground main was pathing better for the most part, as well as just their ult usage was supremely better, whereas now both teams, their ult usage is pretty even.
And the 1v1s were being won far more frequently. I feel like we've kind of gotten more into cohesive team plays.
Yeah.
It's kind of become a bit less about the 1v1 separated duels and now a bit more about what we're capable of doing, all 5 of us together, everyone. And now we can see what together, everyone is going to be banning away. We've been a bit off with our guesses so far here. I'm going to say they're going to ban Venture. We'll go back with that one. What you got?
All right, I'm gonna say Hazard. I haven't seen low ground main lean towards playing that Hazard, and it really did seem to give them a lot of problems on the last map. So I would say just get rid of it here.
I wouldn't mind to see that one bit, honestly. It's the one kind of separating, distinguishing factor. And just like you said, get your lottery tickets and ask our friend Fang what numbers they should grab, because clearly this man is a prophet. Now on the reverse side, SOS. What do they need to ensure themselves the victory?
For sort of skilled, you pretty much at this point, you know you're probably going back to that Winston mirror. That's my expectation, at least. So, with that being the case, I think you can probably ban, like, ooh, maybe you just get a Sombra or a Tracer out of here just in case you don't want to deal with that. But you've been doing so good in that duel, so I don't know. This is a tough one for me because I feel like Sword of Skilled really has an advantage right now, and nothing's been causing them an issue that they wouldn't want to also be playing.
Just gotta hope that they've got more left in the tank, right? You can't get complacent. You can't start patting yourself on the back. Sure, you don't get eliminated out of the bracket, but there's still immense stakes on the line. You want to cruise in as comfortably as possible to that top spot. You do not want to, at this point, be dropping games, especially with how well you've been doing so far. Especially if you have to go against potentially Celestial Knights for that grudge match, since they did send them back to that losers. You don't want to have to face them down in the underworlds of that lower bracket. Juno banned away. We've seen that here to stay for a bit, so I'm not surprised to see it go. All that speed, all that engage, no longer available. No lasers drop.
And I mean, it makes sense too. We haven't seen Sword of Skilled really play that Juno too often, so they're just like, okay, let's just get this out of here. We'll just run the Kiri Lucios back at each other. Because I am fully expecting the Winston comps that we saw on Lijiang Tower, just to see some Sojourn Tracer, Kiri Lucio Winston. I would be surprised if it's anything beyond that.
You know how I think about it, you're absolutely correct, right? It's anything that is outside the norm. We're conformists here today at CGL. They're saying, you're trying to be different? No. Stop that. Anything that's not aligned with what they all feel comfortable playing is kind of instantly getting stamped out, which is very interesting and really leads to these games that it's completely deadpan even. You, again, don't have the excuse that you're countered. It doesn't matter if your character is not the one you're most comfortable on, because the opponent across from the aisle is playing the exact gosh darn same thing. So it all comes down to what skills you have, what communications you got, and how much you want it.
Absolutely, and further proof that we're probably going back to this Winston High Quality and Zebra Cookie have swapped back once again. So that gives me a good inkling that we're going to be going for a Winston, maybe a Diva, but it feels like High Quality really wants to play this Winston.
Where do you come across in the 100 men versus the Gorilla? What do you think?
I get the feeling that I love all the memes more than anything, honestly. I saw one the other day that was 100 Gorillas versus Chuck Norris. That's probably my favorite one so far.
Well, come on. We all know that that's not going to work out well for those gorillas. They're absolutely toasted. But nonetheless, aside from the memeing of it, these Winstons have been threatening. They've been scary. 100 men, nary could take down a gorilla, especially if they've got a Tesla cannon and infinite wells of rage and trauma to dive into. So best be careful. Once again, Winstons are the carries. All eyes on it, and it's about what the pillars of support, whether it be those supports or DPS, can do to enable them on their maddening charges into danger.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all that cleave damage that comes through from that Tesla cannon, as well as just the sheer amount of just immediate damage you can get off on a Winston. People really underestimate how much that little melee right before you hit the ground actually does on Winston. Like, just doing that every single time, which these players are going to be doing every single time, it just adds so much damage over time.
Get ready to see a lot of it, all right? It's like those Donkey Kong players in Smash Bros. Who just spam the down B. A lot of hand slapping on the ground. So get ready. Get your bongo drums out if you got them. And get ready to start marching the beat of hopefully your own drum. At this point, sort of skilled. They clearly have the momentum coming into this. Low ground main. If you are them mentally, I know that you're quite familiar with their game. How do you think they're approaching this game from the standpoint of their emotional kind of perspective?
They're probably just making jokes about it, honestly. This is like I mean, this is the team that had 5 Torbjorns as their favorite players to start with, right? So they might pull Torb out, honestly. I've seen them pull Torb a couple of times. So that could be a thing that happens, you know, but I still would expect them to just rest on their laurels and be like, look, we know how good we are, you know. I think their team sheet also said something about they come in second place every single time in CGL, so they're very used to being this deep into the game and just looking to advance as far as possible.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. This time trying to catch the bouquet and also say I do at the altar this time around. Will that be the case, or will he be knocked out of the race? Well, only time will tell. Be prepared to hop into another push map. Or sorry, not push map, another point map. This is going to be interesting. I'm really looking to see if the fact that these tank players got rotated out, right? The fact that we had Zebra Cookie step in, are they able to rotate back into the role as support as easily? Do they have a bit of sea legs that they got to kind of adjust back to land? Or are they going to instantly be ready to pop back into action as the one helping the Winston instead of being that Ryan?
Being someone who did this pretty regularly when he played on a team, I never found it super difficult personally, because you're just ready to play, and when you've played a lot, you have a lot of times on all these different heroes that they have you playing, so it's not a big deal for you to just swap over for a game, swap over to this role, because the only thing that really is changing is your ultimate timing, and that could also have something to do with why the ultimates maybe felt a little off on the last map, you know? Maybe you just need to get that ultimate timing back a little bit better, that cohesion on that particular role. But because, again, like we saw, even on Gibraltar, with low ground main losing, we were seeing these ultimates going back and forth with each other pretty consistently.
Well, seeing high quality back on the Winston, it's just like you predicted. It's the monkey off. Simeon showdown here. Try to decide if Sort of Skilled can make this match point. It is push indeed, so going to be a battle of attrition to decide who takes it. The comps are all the same, save for one support. Actually, 2 supports now. Switch to the Brig. For the first time, we've gotten to see it.
Yeah, and I think Sort of Skilled's comp becomes a lot better here because it's just so hard to dislodge an on a Brig backline. Like, they're just so strong, so stout. It's hard to get through them.
Find out if they can get a way in. Right now, it's going to be on top of that Sojourn. They call me M. Leading by example. Trying to just take them to Sojourn first, and Sojourn themselves taking out some kills of their own. Zettair goes down, and they call me M. Finds the assignment, gets their target, hit mission complete. High quality is dead too.
And I mean, the thing that's really crazy about Brig right now is that you don't have to land your flails that often anymore due to the perk. Viral not going to have that perk just yet, but one of those perks just allowing your Inspire to last even longer every time you hit one of these flails. You can see already 53% to this rally. All you have to do is just hit your whip every 6 seconds, and that Inspire has 3 times the range of Lucio healing for Zebra Cookie.
Overwatch 1 Brig, she's on her way back. They call me, I might be on their way back to spawn in a second. Have to quickly retreat. An AoE heal not going to be provided necessarily by a Viral and Ligma combination on this Ana and Brig. Nonetheless, can still provide enough, and as well as positioning from M to ensure they stay safe. Now low ground take control of the robot for a little bit, but they call me M, going for the Sojourn every single time, forcing Pred back, recognizing how much of an offensive threat they were. They do take them out, but Kind makes sure they get 2 kills in trade.
And I mean, the other good thing about that is you were already pushing the cart if you were low ground main. This is good contest, though. This is good work by Sort of Skilled to at least die on the cart, so that way you're not staggering yourself. This might be bad, though, if they're your Call Me M, because that pretty much is going to guarantee that low ground main is getting the lead, no?
Yeah, that was a lot of time it took. Like, in that leap, of course, Tracer's going to be able to catch up to you with no issues, so might as well just die on the cart, right? Die with a sword in your hand. Very least now, low ground main, and catch up, and we even surpass what lead our friends Sort of Skilled have gotten. Now, Call Me M back in, charges up, tries to move in. Suzu is used, and that means the anti gonna find 4. Massive impact. Even if you don't get the kills, low ground main have got to completely disengage.
Dub does miss the pulse bomb there, but we're going to see most likely a re-engage around the midpoint here. I want to see if this Nano is going to come out first, or if they Call Me M is just probably going to go deep with this Primal.
Maybe looking for the Sojourn once more. That Tesla cannon instantly forces not only the Suzu, but Sound Barrier too. A lot of defensive resources expended. Rage going to be expended as well by High Quality. Sound Barrier now already outski. Kind drop down very low. Has got to retreat. We'll be able to get back on their feet. Good Nano on top of that Primal. And Call Me M trying to find some kills, but can't quite get the Sojourn just yet. High priority target, and finally hunted down. Pred goes out.
I mean, just stellar Winston play right there, honestly, by They Call Me M in particular. Just not managing to not die. Kind already in position to get this touch before this checkpoint comes through.
And indeed, stopped just before they reach the point. Moving back in, High Quality, overclock. He's gotta get around some shields. Goes up top, but a great anti ensures no heals, no help's coming. They Call Me M once again has Pred's number. Switch off Sojourn or die with the character you like so much. Dragonor as well, going to put on their own Sojourn clinic. Takes down the other monkeys. Zeter and Kind follow.
I mean, this is the difficulty of having Brig on the field, right? Ligma is just super free to just toss these antis as much as they want to. As long as Viral is still alive on this Brigida, you're going to have a hard time getting this Ana off the field.
The Suzu, the moment it comes down, Ligma is oftentimes met with an anti-recognizement. They have no other defensive resources to cleanse that away. Pulse Bomb is ready, and Kitsune charge is used, but it's going to be charging them right back to base. Sort of Skilled to find disengage while it runs out. Good Pulse Bomb, though, onto Viral. Now might be their chance.
That's exactly what you need. You need that Brig out the way. Once that Brig is gone, now you are free to dive as much as you want to. And I mean, honestly, if you're low ground main, you might think about swapping to the Brig. Okay, never mind. It looks like we're going to go Ana Lucio here for Sort of Skilled. I think this starts to favor low ground main a little more.
Switch to the Cole Cassidy, I really like to see. The Sojourn is getting hunted down so easily, so a bit more burst damage to maybe try to take him down. But let's see if it ends up being the same case. High Quality in the backline takes down Ligma, and They Call Me M just can't quite find Zebra Cookies. Finally, High Quality go down, so 1-for-1 trade. Not one you're too upset about, but Pred going to make that a bit of a worse one. Dragonor falls to their gun.
And I mean, honestly, Dub doing a really good job of just getting away from Pred there. It looked a little sketchy there for a moment. Only ultimates online. Kind getting that kill onto Dub, though, is not what you want to see if you're Sort of Skilled.
We're back to the old classic, the 1v1 Tracer. Who's better? Dub had the better hand. Forced Kind prior on map 2 to switch off. Here comes the Deadeye around the corner. Not going to find any shoppers. That bubble shield, in fact, just going to block your own vision. Still waiting, but if you're waiting for a bit longer than you want, Cowboy. An unfortunate ult wasted there by low ground.
I mean, you're usually not going to get a kill from the High Noon anyways, so at least getting your team some cart progress, I would say that's probably the most value you're going to get out of it in a game of this high level. High Quality getting close on this Primal Rage. You probably want to see him build this up here.
Oh, instead of Zebra Cookie going to finish the job, and They Call Me M, taking out at least one of the Winstons while High Quality takes down Dragonor too. Dub continue to be a nuisance in the back line, finishes off Zebra, but quickly as well, the other supports will fall. Sort of Skilled now, sort of in quite a bit of trouble. Low ground main gonna supersede their progress on the point and keep on pushing.
Ooh, this is a tough spot right now because you got double support ults that are about to come online for low ground main. You do have the Pulse Bomb and the Overclock and the Primal if you're Sort of Skilled, but is that going to be enough to go through double support ults?
And as well as a Primal and a Pulse Bomb on top from Kind, but Dub makes theirs pretty good. Takes down Zebra Cookie before they can even reach their ultimate. High Quality's dead too, so it doesn't even matter if you have your ultimates if you're dead too. Kind finishes the job there by taking out Viral, or sorry, Viral taking out Kind. Pred will fall, and Zettair shot down by the Railgun. Sort of skilled, nary having to use anything except for that Pulse Bomb. A very decisive fight in their favor.
No, and I mean, you're looking here, so many ultimates online for low ground main, and sort of skilled at this point. Honestly, I think if Vero can get up to this sound barrier, that's where this next fight starts to get really interesting. You just need to get this sound barrier online in time to deal with all these ultimates at low ground main.
Well, not trying to let them. Rush is indeed, the Kitsune is called. Primal Rage as well, maybe trying to look for the Lucio first. Indeed, they don't want to let them get to that ultimate. Trying to juggle him into the sky, but the wall ride keeps him safe, and Viral comes back down with the sound barrier. Pred instead disassembled by Dub as well as the Winston. They call me M now popping off. Dives in the back line, Pulse Bomb off the mark. You can't kill your own friend, Tracer, as they call me M retreats to the back line.
And there you go. Vero managing to get up to that sound barrier just in time. And this might be a lead for Sword of Skilled. It's looking like it's gonna be, because I don't think anybody's gonna be able to touch for low ground main. And this is a horrible situation for low ground main, because now you're dealing with a Kitsune rush and you have nothing. You burnt everything in that last fight.
Tit for tat. This game has been so back and forth every single time. Ligma going to be touching their own toes. Back in the grayscale. High Quality finishes the job as they jump on in. But that's okay, they call me M. Get some support kills of their own. 2 for the price of 1. Kind drops, Pred's dead. High Quality gets folded. It's a team kill for Sword of Skilled.
And I mean, here we are, sort of skilled. They're in this, they're basically touching spawn doors at this point. Dub has the Pulse Bomb online here. You don't really have anything left, but I mean, look at how far you've got it already. You're basically 130 meters.
Knock, knock. We're looking to get to that finals door. High Quality jumps in, still not going to give up until the bell sounds. Drop down to half, though. Could be a bit of trouble. Caught in their own shield, which just quickly burst apart. They retreat back. Might be on to Kind, who's going to have the first ultimate up with that Pulse Bomb, but Dub already has a pulse of their own to try to expend properly. But who's going to be the target? They've been looking for Zebra Cookie so far, but will they find similar success on the slippery Lucio? Pred that have their ultimate up as well. Sort of skilled, regroup and reassemble.
And I mean, honestly here, if you can manage to not have to burn ultimates here, if you're sort of skilled, that's your ideal scenario right now. Just save ultimates for last fight. You only got a minute left.
That combo you talked about, the punch and drop down, the down B smackdown. They call me M, drops around top of Zettair. Kind goes down, Dragonor traded out. Zebra Cookie makes it stripes in the kill feed as Dub finishes the job on the Lucio. Everyone seems to have their own mark, their own target they're looking for. They call me M. Make sure to take down their doppelganger. There can only be one. As slowly but surely we continue to approach the final reaches of the point. Low ground main barely able to stave them off and can finally breathe just a little.
Oh my goodness, here comes the Kitsune rush out from low ground main, being forced to use it to basically get out of their spawn.
Sound barriers the response. Deadeye catches the monkey out from the skies. Is just going to be to collect that corpse one more time on a Ligma as well. Now it's High Quality's time to shine with no other Winston left to try to contain them. They are going to be able to find Viral as well as Dragonor. It's a team kill in response, but a lot of ground left to make up.
And no ultimates used by Sort of Skilled there. Being smart and just understanding that if you just press that issue over and over again, eventually low ground main is going to get tired of being held in their spawn and just have to ult you out of it.
Overtime, baby, and it's all coming down to this overclock and pulse. Every shot, every ultimate is finding its mark. 3 members of low ground already brought low by the double DPS. High Quality's got to put on a high quality performance as they enter the primal form, shaking in rage, but can they find the kills to match? Kind's been dropped too. Tracer on Tracer violence is Viral, puts down the monkey one last time. Sort of Skilled, take winners finals.
And deserved, honestly. Like, after that first map, Sort of Skilled just really kept winning the most important fights of the map over and over and over again every single time. I guess they just didn't like Lijiang Tower. That's my guess here. You know, they must have just not liked Lijiang.
Yeah, they hate that map. Why'd they pick it? Why'd they let it go through? My God. I mean, here's the thing. This is still an incredible, like 3-1 in my opinion. It does not at all, and I'm sure you would agree, reflect how close this has all been, right? It goes to everyone on Kings Row pushes 2-second separation, right? Insanity. And this push map, it wasn't just a slow grind to the very end. It was back and forth, back and forth. A seesaw ride that never ended until Sword of Skill just decided to shoot them in the face.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, that works, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get shot in the face, as Mike Tyson once said.
That's absolutely true. You can quote him on that one. And I'm sure that I'm sure in his professional Overwatch career, he said that many times too. So, okay, low ground main, drop down to loser's bracket. They're by no means out of contention for the championship quite just yet. Sort of skilled. They ascend. Just real quickly, before we hippity hop into our interview, what's a word of advice you could offer to anyone who's got to step up against that same scary team?
Oh my goodness. I mean, just try and be as aggressive as they are and get your ultimates off in, you know, in a similar timed fashion. Try not to just ult dump. It seemed like that was a lot of times what both of these teams were doing. They were ult dumping and then losing the fight that they really needed to have those ultimates for.
End of the day, the economy sometimes moves it all in this capitalistic society, so keep those ults on lock, keep it in your pocket, try to win with the shots alone. That being said, we're not going to be alone for much longer. We're going to be hopefully getting the voices and words of our dear beloved winners of this series so far. So stick around, more CGL action with the interview right after the break.
Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
welcome back to CGL Season 15 Masters Winners Finals, and we have a grand winner, Sort of Skill, take down the competition low ground main. It's D'Lo here to provide you with all the chaos alongside Shadow Fang too. We've had our friends Light as well as Mara, our almighty eyes in the sky. Fang, we just got out of an absolute barn burner. How you feeling, man? You okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited with the outcome we had here. It's super competitive throughout.
Well, I'm excited to hear from the voices of those who are actually able to do the dirty work themselves. We're going to be shortly acquainted with the vocal talents of our friends Hoxie Voxie, DPS of Sort of Skilled, as well as M the Tanks. Guys, just how we doing? Feeling after that victory?
I mean, personally, I'm feeling really good. I think that this was a really good match. I think it showed off our strengths and showed off what we need to work on, especially. So we will definitely be hitting the VOD room. I hope you're feeling
I'm also
good,
feeling
Vox.
pretty good. Yeah, definitely I agree with M about like VODing. I felt like so we got exposed to some issues, and I'm kind of excited to work on those issues though. We want to bring
100%.
everyone here a great grand final next week.
Yes.
So-
Sorry.
Really quick, it's being one of those, the things y'all talk about in the VOD, I'm very curious because there was a lot of diddling. It felt like there was a Pokemon match here. There was a ton of kind of conformity in terms of the compositions. Was this intentional, or was this the game plan that you guys just kind of happened to steer into the same skid of your opponents? And I want to ask that one to M, because you in particular were oftentimes matching tit for tat what the opponent tank was doing.
So, I mean, it's a really good question, actually. I gotta think.
Take your time.
A big thing that kind of threw a wrench in our plans, and I actually like tipped my hat to LGM on this one, was their bans. Their bans are really good. It's probably the first time this tournament that we've actually felt like bans were something that we had to like play around. Like especially things like banning the Brigitte on Gibraltar, banning my Winston on Kings Row. A lot of things that like our initial plans that don't work out. So a lot of times when we're in a spot like that, we'll kind of just see what they're doing, and if we kind of agree with it, we'll just do it because, to be honest, we kind of just think we're better at things. Proven this tournament that we can kind of do whatever we need to do to win, and most of the time in a mirror, we'll just kind of win. I'll say on the King's Row thing, I did just pick Reinhardt because I like that character. Not for any strategic reason, to be honest. I just love
Valid.
Reinhardt.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that. I like playing Reinhardt myself, so I'm right there with you on that. With that being said, though, what do you think changed up so much on that Kings Row match? It seemed like as soon as y'all swapped to that more hazard-based composition and tried to just space out low ground main, that kind of stopped the Rhine from working. What did the both of you think that really caused that map to turn around like it did?
I'll let you go first, Fox.
Well, for starters, I think that hazard comp is just a lot better in our current meta, as well as I think how do I put this? On that hazard comp, like when they're playing that brawl, it's just hard for them to get value because we're like our poke is taking up so much of their resources, and we just played it really well. Also, Viro's a demon on Zenyatta.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that flank on OT, God, he's violent. Honestly, he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, and comps like Hazard work really well with our team, because a lot of our players naturally like to play really slow, especially players like Vile and Dove. My backline, they have a really good time just like kind of sticking to angles and just abusing things. So I mean, like, but me on the other hand, I just like to feed. So like, I almost inted Kings Row, just like threw that whole map away in the last like 20 seconds. But luckily, my Vile guy just made an amazing play and flanked, and then we just kind of collapsed on it. So I mean, I think that's why that stuff works out, is just because A, yes, it's a really good comp, but B, we're just kind of naturally tuned, just as teammates, to take our time and do that kind of stuff.
All right. And then, with y'all winning this match, you've now moved on to the grand finals. Who do you think is going to make it to the grand finals out of all the teams that are left?
Who is the lowers finals done yet or no?
No,
Okay.
that's what is it? It's Celestial Knights versus Shoebill.
Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, like, I feel like if you're a human being, you make the assumption that this was a preview, right? Like it will just kind of be low ground main again versus us. But like if you look at the history of this playoffs, Celestial Knights gave us a real run for our money.
Yes.
And I honestly I would love to see them in grands. I think they're a really fun team to play. I think they're really cool. And I'm just kind of sick and tired of low ground main, so
So real.
that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm tired of
Dang,
Logan
man.
also.
Well, y'all sent them to the depths of that loser bracket, so kudos to you guys for that. But I do want to ask, because there was a moment where it seemed like they had you against the ropes, they had your number. That Lijiang Tower game, dominant in their favor. What were the comms like post map 1? Was it everyone saying like, oh shoot, like hold on, they might have our number, guys, or was everyone like, nah, that map just sucks?
We hate map 1. We're so bad at it. Always. we just love losing Lijiang control tower.
Yeah, actually, I think M likes to troll on map 1 just so I can have a worse win rate than everyone else. Just
True,
maybe.
true.
Yep.
So I mean, that's kind of how we always do it. It's kind of like a running bit. Is if we lose Lijiang, we just go, hey, warm up, go next.
Warm up.
And it's definitely something that we try to do, even in as much as we can, is have a next map mentality, and in wins and in losses.
Fantastic way to go about it. And now you guys can look ahead to the next stage of the bracket, that grand finals. Congratulations to you both. Any last little shout outs, any words of praise, any words of thanks you want to give out to the crowd, any folks that are special there? What you got?
I'll let you go first, Vox.
I think I just gotta thank my team here. Like, I'm
Of course.
so privileged to be around like such an amazing core of players who love the game and are passionate about the game and put in hard work. You know, we all put in a lot of work at SOS, and we're all very happy to make it here to the grand final.
On my side, Dead Dove really wants me to thank Fellowship Esports. They warmed us up today and made sure we played good. Personally, I'd like to, as well as Vox, just kind of thank my teammates. I love my teammates, I love my supports, my DPS. You guys keep me sane and keep me from feeding 24/7. Shout out to Logan Main. I love beating you guys so much.
So true.
Especially shout out to High Quality for that guy just yaps all the time in Masters Tier. It's so funny to laugh at him. So I mean, yeah, thank everyone. Thank you, production. I always love being casted and being streamed. You guys are amazing. And yeah, that's it. Just thank you.
Appreciate y'all. I mean, hey, y'all performed amazingly out there. I'm sure your friends, High Quality's, yapping about how they're going to be back for revenge, maybe in those grand finals. But it's a story for a different day, my friends. I congratulate you both, Voxy and M. Have a good rest of your night. Celebrate your victory. Grab some champagne. You've earned it.
Thank you. Have a great night, you guys.
You too.
Peace.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The vocal talents there of our friends Vox as well as M are victors on SOS. Bracket now being shown here as we do know the results of Sword of Skilled ascending to that grand final stage. And we heard it being said from the horse's mouth. They want to step up against Celestial Knights. Will that be the case, though? Only time will tell.
I mean, like I said, low ground main pretty much always makes it to this grand final, so it would be a crazy upset, but we've seen some really competitive matches still. Like I said, both teams just getting out of that 3-2, so nothing's guaranteed.
By no means. But unfortunately, one thing that is guaranteed is that it is going to be the end of what we've got to yap to you about, as that has been the series. Thank you all very much for watching CGL Season 15 Masters Division Winners Finals. A hearty congratulations to Sword of Skilled, our victors, and a better luck next time to Low Ground Main as they start to slog through that losers bracket. I've been D-Lo, joined here by Shadow Fang 2 in the booth. We've had our friend Time to Light as well as Miranda, our almighty eyes in the sky. Please thank our production for all of their hard work. We could not yell at games without them. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this series just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more CGL content coming at you in the future. Until then, good games, and good night.